Big dogs. Oh, yeah.
Aiden Daniels, Rashad White, Merlin Robertson, and Darian Butler are joining us. Thank you for the time, guys. Open up the questions, and I'll pass the mic around. If you have a question, please raise your hand. And specify who you're asking the question to as well. Who wants to start us out?
Hey guys, this is a question for any of you can answer really. How much of a focus was it tonight to minimize the penalties and really play a clean game?
It was a big focus. We can, like I said before, and the whole team knows that we can't win football games, having that many penalties. And it showed last week. So the main focus with the leaders of the offense and the defense and the captains is just come here and just focus up because we know what we're capable of when we play a clean football game.
Questions for the guys? I've got the mic right here.
Hey guys, Cole Top and Devil's Digest. Tyler, it seemed like the pass rush was getting really consistent pressure up front. What was working for you guys?
I didn't hear you. Say that one more time, boss.
Yeah, the pass rush seemed to be getting consistent pressure up front. What was working for you guys?
I will say earlier in practice it started, coaches had a pretty good idea on what they were going to do with their protection. So I guess in practice we did everything we could. We prepared real good for how we're going to attack, their protection. So, it played out pretty well.
Jaden, this one's for you. It felt like you guys really found your groove on offense after halftime. Just what adjustments did you make that led to that improved consistency in the second half?
It wasn't really any adjustments made. In the first half we had drives, sustained drives, but we just didn't capitalize. That was the main thing. We just finished drives now, and that's what we harped all week in practice. We harped at halftime, and we just went out there and executed it.
And Merlin, outside of the first drive of the third quarter, though, that the second half, though, did you feel that the adjustments you guys made at halftime just kind of took the wind out of their sails? Because it seemed like they really couldn't get much going.
Can you repeat that, please?
For Colorado, obviously in the second half, they had that first drive, but then after that, you pretty much were able to shut them down. What led to that? And I mean, could you just feel the wind being taken out of their sails?
It was just that first drive. I felt coming out of half. I don't even know.
First one, that was
Yeah.
Other questions for the guys? Got the mics over here. Prince, go ahead.
Prince James Story, Buckeye News. Jaden, in the fourth quarter, you had a big block on one of the defense players in Colorado. It looked like you had to stare down with him. Did you say anything to him or?
Nah, man, I don't be saying nothing. I don't get into none of that. It's just having fun out there at the end of the day. The block was needed. I really didn't know if I had that in me, but it worked out in my favor.
What's up, fellas? Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. I'll ask for the defensive guys. How big was this win considering the way things went last week?
Oh, it was real big. Like you said, we was harping in practice on the penalties and, the emphasis is just, come on, play a clean game. Why do we have all these penalties? So we just cleaned it up, did exactly what we thought we could do.
And then defensively too, I mean, I know obviously not asking you to comment on the officiating, but the targeting, I mean, you see the replay, doesn't look like it, but I mean, how do you guys bounce back from something like that on such a tight call?
It's all good. We got next man up mentality. It's all good. We understand things happen in football games. Things not gonna always go our way, but it's next play.
Sure. This for the offensive guys. The run game wasn't what we've seen it be, but you guys found other ways to execute. What was the thinking going in? Did you think that they were going to stop the run and you were looking for other stuff, especially for you, Rashad? You found ways to catch the ball, get it out.
I feel like Coach Hill got a good game plan, things like that. I mean, we always want to run the ball. But in reality, as an offense, we want to be 50-50. So as a running back, y'all know our mentality. Long as we win, that's really kind of like all that matters. We cheer on everything. I feel like it was great, especially tonight that, the passing game got going. Like everybody got a rhythm, things like that. If they want to stack the box, then, we trust some receivers. We did some key things this week to fix things up. Jaden led that group and we trust receivers and, they got us home. Like the pass game got us home. That's all that matters.
Jaden, Gabe Schwartz, Devil's Digest. At one point in the first half, you had a little scramble out of the end zone and then found LV. On the scramble drills, how big is it to be able to keep your eyes downfield and find guys there? And how are you building comfort in that area of your passing game?
It's huge. team see me as a threat with my legs as soon as I leave the pocket. So all eyes are gonna be on me. So you know, as something we worked on all off season and even fall camp. You know, if I leave the pocket, just work to get open. I want to throw the ball before I run it. And the defender had came at me, and LV was wide open. So I mean, that's just something that we connected on, something we've been working on, and that's going to keep defenses off balance.
For the offensive guys, Rashad, you were able to score on that double pass from Ricky. How much do you guys look forward to executing those plays when you get them during practice, and how excited do you get to show those off?
I mean, it's a good creativity. Like Fob said, at the end of the day, just having fun out there. You kind of want to execute as a mentality of offense. We try to just execute every opportunity you get, like, you know, because you don't get that many, you know, it's limited with all the guys we got on offense, you know. So it was just great. We ran that play last year against UCLA actually on this field, and I ended up getting tackled deep down the field. And Ricky came to me on the sideline, and I remember that play ever since. Like, now I got to score for him because he asked me last year, like, you couldn't score for me. So ever since then, that's been in my head, and it's just, like I said, a great play. Just having fun out there.
Jaden Cronkite, Chaz Messman, Cronkite News. Do you guys think that you sent a message to the rest of the Pac-12 being able to bounce back from that BYU loss to come out and have a dominant win like you did tonight?
Man, I feel like we just sent a message to ourselves, to everybody that's just watching this. You know, last week we had those penalties, but we're not really worried about the outside noise. We worry about what's in this building, because at the end of the day, it's all we got. Like, all we got. So I don't really think it was a message to the whole Pac-12. I feel like they knew we were serious, but I mean, it's really just a message to ourselves that if we come out and play clean, we could put up wins like this. At the end of the day, I'm just excited that we got the win and we're 1-0 in the Pac-12.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Well, for us, it was a little bit of more of a complete game, but still there were some fouls on special teams that really hurt some big returns. And we've got a lot of young players playing on special teams. I'm not making excuses for them, but their emotions got the best of them. And they retaliated, and you can't do that. We talked about that all week. That was kind of the message this week was I didn't want us to play cautious. I wanted us to play free and not tight and not worried about, I'm gonna make a penalty or I'm gonna make a mistake. I wanted them to play free. So all I talked about all week, don't play cautious. Don't be a cautious football team. Just play, free yourself up and enjoy the game of football. And I thought for the most part, got off to a pretty good start. And then we kind of got a little sluggish there at times, but we kept our momentum. We really never lost momentum in this game. You know, we always felt like we had control of it. Thought the defense did a nice job. The third quarter, they came out and ran the ball on us. We mixed some gaps. We had a lot of young guys in there trying to give them some reps. We got to do that because we've lost some guys on the D line. So that's important to get those guys in games, along with our corners. You know, we put some young corners out there to get some young guys out there trying to play as well. So I think it was a good game for guys to be involved in, where it was a tight game when we put them in the game. And for the most part, we came out of it okay.
Doug Haller with The Athletic. A couple of weeks ago, we talked a lot about Jaden's decision-making on when to throw, when to pass. How do you think he's progressed in that area?
I think Zach has done a really nice job with him. I think this is one of his better nights. He sat in the pocket, surveyed the situation. This is a good defense. These guys got a good defense. And made some throws. You know, the one throw over there on the sideline, we had this double bench combination. That was big time throw. That was like, that's throws on Sundays. That throw was really nice. And I think as he continues to gain confidence with the receivers, hopefully it'll get better, because it's going to have to be, because we're we got 8 more Pac-12 games. So it's kind of like we got to get that going. You know, we wanted to hit some explosive plays in the passing game, and we're able to do that. I think the receivers are starting to hone in with him. It was good to see Johnny make a couple catches. You know, so I think as we continue to go, that's got to be part of it. You know, we just can't always try to run the ball, because people are stacking the box. They did a nice job of that today for the most part. But then Jaden was used on some runs, on some design runs with Hatch leading him, which is for me important. I don't want him running out there by himself with nobody in front of him. So I thought the offense was pretty balanced today.
And coach, obviously not commenting on the officiating, but the targeting call. I mean, sometimes when you look at it in slow motion, it just seems like you're asking defensive players, and you play defense, to defy physics in a way. And his head stayed up. I mean, just your kind of whole thoughts on that?
Yeah, the problem with that one is this: when you teach tackling, you can't hit a guy with your helmet anymore in his chest, because what happens is when you hit him, your helmet automatically goes up under his chin. So that's targeting. We had that happen to Tyler. It happened to Merlin, and we're trying to teach him. He was a young guy, green, fabulous rush, fabulous game. And as soon as he hit him, I said, he's done. He's out. We got to hit him on the side. You can't hit him flush in the chest anymore, because your helmet's going to go up and it's going to hit the guy under his chin, and his head's going to go back. You're out of the game. So it wasn't trying to be dirty. It's just, you're right. He got caught in the moment where he's got to go to the side and try to tackle him. And that's the way we have to play football, in today's world.
Coach, congratulations. Greg Moore, Arizona Republic.
Thank you.
How big was this win in context of last week, and what your goals are going forward?
Well, our goals have never changed. It's kind of interesting. You lose last week the way we lost. I think the thing about last week for me was I've never witnessed that at any level as a head coach. I know that's not us, and we talked about it all week. And we got it cleaned up some. Now we got to continue to clean it up. But it was good to bounce back, after something like that, after a draining loss like that, where you just felt like we just kind of kept putting ourselves in bad positions, whether it was on offense going backwards or defense making a play, and then it gets canceled out. It was all three phases of it. And hopefully we learned a lesson. And we got better this week with it. We still had, 7 penalties, and that's too many. You'd like to keep it 5 or less in there. I think if you can do that, you got a shot, you got a chance. But I didn't want them to play cautious. And you can do that. You can, and that was my big deal. I talked about it all week. I said, man, we're not going to play cautious. We're going to play Sun Devil football. We're going to play physical. We're going to play fast. Just got to play smarter. And for the most part, they did a nice job there.
Evan Osherwitz, House of Sparky. It felt like the secondary held up pretty well with no Chase Lucas back there. Just talk about what changes when he's not in and how you felt the guys responded to that.
Not a whole lot. We're cat coverage. And that means cover your cat. We play a lot of man-to-man. And, when you can do that, the quarterback has to hold the ball. And then you get to hit the quarterback some. And so we didn't back off it a whole lot. AP makes me nervous when he's putting these other guys in there. And I'm like, oh, really? Okay. And for the most part, they held up. We got a couple fouls. We got 2 holding calls. We got one on Jack, one on Woods, and, on a deep goal. And they're going to test you on goal routes. When you play man-to-man from press position, they're going to throw fades on you. You're going to throw it down the field. We just got to play the ball a little bit better. But for the most part, I thought we did a pretty good job of covering.
Congratulations, Coach KSR and Earl Burnett. I'm just kind of curious. The guys are out here talking about cleaning up the penalties, and then you just got through saying clean up. What exactly are you doing in practice to clean up those penalties?
Well, it's funny because since I've been here, we've always had officials at practice. We have the total of penalties of practice, and before the next practice, I show them. Say, okay, we have 3 fouls today or 4 fouls. And that's kind of how it's always been. So it was more of a guys just focusing in on, guys, you can't give it that extra. You can't get into a shoving match. And here again, we had 4 more special teams. A lot of them were young guys, freshmen. They got the penalties. Now, I'm not giving them an excuse, but in the heat of the moment, somebody pushes you first and you push him second, the official sees a second, right? And so every time a flag goes down, I was looking, I'm going, oh boy, really? It's like I'm scared. Like the last touchdown we had, the flag went down. I went, you got to kid you. No, please. And then it was on them. I said, oh, we finally got, okay. But every time, when there's a flag, I mean, a white towel was on the ground. I thought that was a flag. And one time in the middle of the field, I said, it's another flag. Well, what was doing? It's just, I'm like, I don't want to see yellow flags anymore. I really don't. Wow, kills you.
Hey, Coach Jack Loader, House of Sparky. You mentioned the total number of penalties was a little more than what you'd like to see,
Yeah.
but just one in the first quarter. How important was it for you guys to come out and play clean at first period and really put that performance behind you?
Well, I told them before we went out of the locker room about not playing cautious, right? And then before I looked at all of them, I said, I know what you guys are going to do. You're going to get a penalty on the first play. And you're going to drive me crazy. I said, don't do that to me. I'm too old for that, man. So they waited till the second quarter, which was good. Because they'd have had one on the first play, I'd have had a heart attack. I'd have went, no, not again. Let's don't do this, guys. Let's don't. And it was we aren't that team. We've never been like that here. And it, for some reason, came out, and I don't know why. And it was on the road. Now we're going on the road again. And that can't be part of our personality when we go on the road, and especially against a good team like UCLA.
Coach, I'm thinking about the trick plays. It was the
Yeah.
double pass.
Yeah.
There was Elijah Badger, and it's just some cool scheme stuff. What are your thoughts? What are you thinking when you see that stuff go and get executed properly?
Well, when we see it in practice, I just kind of shake my head, okay. And I was looking at practice and I go, is he really going to call this in the game? And when the one that Badger, we actually had another guy running it. And then we said, no, I said, let Badger run. Now, he 1 for 1. Touched the ball one time, ran a touchdown. That's pretty good average. And then the other one, the throwback, I saw that in practice and I was like, really, you gonna do that one? And I just thought we were practicing it. Then when he called it on the sideline, I said, you got to be kidding me, right? And there's a fine line. It's not trying to show anybody up or embarrass somebody, but the players like doing stuff like that. You keep the players entertained by doing that. They like that. And I'm an old school guy. I don't like, especially down in the red zone, don't mess it up. Don't do something. And when they did it, and I saw they threw it over to Ricky, I went, they're getting ready to run this play. And I kind of looked and I didn't want to look. And then I saw him throw it and I said, I thought it was going to get intercepted. And he made a good throw, and we got it and ran in and I went, when it worked, what can I say? It worked. But I'm nervous.
You had DJ Taylor back tonight, and I know some of his returns got negated for penalties, but he looks so electric. What kind of weapon is he for you guys as a returner?
Field position. And why they kicked to him, I don't know. I wouldn't fool around with that guy. But I'm glad they do, because he's going to give you the hidden yards. And if we had 2 of them where they got called back. I mean, those big play. One of them was a 50-yard play. We went back 50 yards from where the foul was at, right? I mean, when you get across the 50-yard line on a return, you're playing half a football. And he's getting better. He's getting better. That was the whole conversation I had with him his first year. He was here. He couldn't catch a punch very well. I said, hey, look, spring, summer, you got to catch punts. You got to do both, right? And Slocum's done a nice job with him where he's getting more confident at it. But he has a way. When he sees the hole, he attacks it. And all the good ones that I've ever seen at any level, when they see air, they don't wiggle. They press it. They press the hole and they go fast. And that's what he can do. He can accelerate and he goes fast. And before you know it, he's up on you, right? And then if he can get through that, the next level, he has good instincts. He sees the field. He knows how to cut. He's a good return man.
Hey, Coach, Gabe Swartz, Devil's Digest. In 7 of the 8 games that Rashad White has played for ASU, he scored a touchdown. What about his skill set stands out to you most?
His ability to his vision. He has really good vision in tight quarters. And he's a big guy. He has vision. I want to say I don't know how many I don't know how many running touchdowns we had tonight. 1 or 2. I guess I don't know. Does anybody know? We had 4 running touchdowns. We have 4. So we've got 29 all of a sudden. Yeah, it's a lot of running touchdowns. And that's a good thing, you know. Because I always like running down there rather than throwing it. A lot of bad things happen. You start throwing it down there. Right? Running, you give it to somebody, or you know, we scored a lot of touchdowns running the ball down there. So, but he has great vision. Yeah.
Thank you,
Good.
Coach.
Thank you, folks.